What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Marcus of the Rodent, and today we're doing another like POV driving Mark Talks style of video where I just talk about random things that are on my mind within the car world or the car community, whatever you want to call it. And today the topic of discussion is, should you daily drive a manual transmission car? A little bit of context. My 350Z is a manual. I actually learned how to drive it when I bought it a year ago. It was last April that I bought this car, and right there on the spot I just learned how to drive a manual transmission. It wasn't that hard. I actually made a video on how to drive a manual if you want to learn. But anyway, since then I've been driving it quite frequently. During the winter I didn't drive it at all because it's rear-wheel drive and I have a PT Cruiser as a daily driver. But back at like the start of June, actually probably like midway through May, the PT Cruiser is out of commission. Something happened to it, it's broken, and I've just been too lazy to fix it. And I don't really want to spend money on that car right now anyway, because I don't have any need to drive it. So for the past like month and a half, I've been daily driving this puppy, this manual 350Z. And I decided it would be a good idea to make a video on like if it's a good idea for you to do it or not. And the short answer is yeah, it's not that big of a deal, because the way I look at it is, people are always like, oh, daily driving a manual sucks, like always having to push on the clutch and always having to release. Dude, if pushing on a clutch is like a workout for you, you need to go outside more, all right? It's not that hard. It doesn't really make your legs sore at all. It's not that big of a deal. It doesn't. I'm not sitting there pushing down on the clutch and be like, whew, golly, just broke a sweat there. Like that doesn't happen. If that is a problem with you, dude, you need to go work out or something, or just like start doing some cardio, because pushing down on a clutch is not very tiring at all. So that whole like excuse of, oh, it can get tiring driving a manual all the time, I'm just gonna throw that right out the window, because it's not that hard. It really isn't. I can understand if you live somewhere where it's like a big city and you're stopping and going all the time. I can see how that would get annoying, driving manual, but I still don't think it would be like making your legs sore, making you tired because you're driving a manual. I would just think it would get annoying. But like I said, yeah, I don't think it's gonna make you sore. The second thing about driving a manual is it's just like, it's more work. It really is. And it's like, if you're going to work, right? Let's say you're going to your job and you have to daily drive your manual car to the job and back. It can get really annoying because in the mornings, at least for me, in the mornings, I'm always like dead. I'm not a morning person at all. So when I wake up, I'm like, oh my God, I just want to get to work, start working, and then go home. That's all I want to do. I don't want to have to do any extra work. And so yeah, sometimes I kind of like dread having to drive the manual transmission, because it's like, okay, I'm gonna have to do all this extra work, and it can get a little bit annoying. Especially coming home from work. Coming home from work's even worse, because then I'm like so tired. I like worked all day and I just want to drive, relax myself, and like drive home that way. And driving a manual transmission is definitely a little bit more stressful than just driving an automatic. And so I guess that can get annoying. I can understand where people are coming from with that one. How if you like just went to work and back, how you just would rather just drive home comfortably and cruise. But like where I'm from, like for example right now, I'm just cruising in 5th gear anyway. It's not like I don't really have to worry too much about downshifting and upshifting and all that baloney, because it really isn't that tough. That's another thing too. If you do have to daily drive a manual, stop downshifting, all right? Stop doing the cool boom, boom, boom downshift. Just when you come to a stop, push in the clutch, pop it into neutral, and just come to a stop like it's an automatic car. That's what I do when I'm daily driving it. If I'm like having fun with my friends, or if I'm out driving it for a good time or something like that, then yeah, I'll downshift because it sounds cool, it makes cool noises, all that good stuff. But if I'm just daily driving at home, downshifting, I just put it in neutral and come to a stop. That's what I do usually. I know people are like, oh, you shouldn't do that, and you shouldn't do that. They were right. If you can downshift, definitely downshift, but that's just what I do. It's easier that way for me. It's more relaxing that way for me. The next thing I can say is like wear on your clutch could be an issue, I guess, for you if you don't know how to drive a manual too well yet. People say that a lot. It's like, oh, I don't want to wear out my clutch any more than I have to. I'm not 100% sure how that works, so I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and be like, oh, it doesn't do damage to your clutch. It for sure probably can do damage for your clutch. I'm sure it does. But as far as I know, my clutch is fine. I've been driving for a year. Like I said, I learned how to drive on this car, and my clutch is fine. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Just learn how to take off better. The last thing is, people are always like, this is the last point I want to make. People are always like, well, I don't know how to, like, I'm worried I'm gonna roll back into people on hills. Like, what happens if, like, I stall or somewhere? Dude, it's gonna happen either way, okay? I want to make that very clear. If you don't drive a manual and you start driving and you only drive it on the weekends, you're still gonna stall. You're still gonna roll back on hills. All that stuff is still gonna happen to you. It's just, daily driving is just gonna help you learn how to take care of that stuff better. I haven't stalled this car in a long time. I don't roll back on hills that much anymore. I'm not worried about starting on hills anymore. I don't really care about where I start the car. It's as long as I'm driving, I'm driving. I don't really even think about it anymore. When I first started driving, yeah, I constantly thought about, oh my God, I gotta avoid all the hills, avoid all the traffic, all that stuff. It's really, you get the hang of it faster if you're daily driving it. You gotta learn somehow. It's like, people are like, oh, well, I'll just drive it once a week, I'll learn that way. Yeah, you can learn that way, and I'm sure you will learn that way, but it's gonna take you like a year. Whereas if you just daily drove it, it could take you a month to like get out of your comfort zone with starting on hills and stuff like that. The only one thing I will say is, a lot of people that do have a manual car, like I know this car for me in particular, is kind of like their project car or their baby or their Sunday cruiser car, and so they don't want to put miles on it. And I totally understand that. I actually don't want to be daily driving this right now. I just am, because like I said, the PT Cruiser is out of commission. But if that's your case, that's a completely different story. If you don't want to daily drive your manual because you already have an automatic daily and your manual is like your fun car, that makes sense. I totally understand that. That's 100% understandable. That's your race car. You don't want to put miles on the race car. It's meant for the fun part of it. The manual transmission is the fun part of it, and I get that. So I don't want to have anybody think like I'm saying like, oh, if you have a, you know, S13 drift car that makes like 600 horsepower, you should be daily driving that. Like, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, this is kind of for the people that are looking at buying a first car and are like, oh, should I buy a manual, or does daily driving manual suck? It really doesn't. Yes, in the beginning, it's going to absolutely suck. It's going to be miserable. You're going to hate your life for the like first month, because you're going to have to learn how to do everything, and you're going to literally have to learn. It's not like you're going to be able to be like, okay, well, I'll just drive the automatic today. That's not the case. You're going to have to hop in the manual, and you're going to have to drive it, and you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. And I understand for people like with anxiety or something that might be worried about doing that. I get that, but I promise you, man, daily driving a manual is not as bad as some people make it out to be. I saw a TikTok the other day, and it was like, oh, what's better, manual or auto? They always argue about that whole thing. This is not an argument, by the way, if manual is better than auto. Manual is better than auto, but we won't get into that. No, I'm just kidding. But this is not an argument on if manual is better than auto. I'm just saying, like, it's not a big deal to daily drive a manual car. People used to do it all the time. You stop being lazy. I can't stand, the one excuse people says is that it gets tiring. That's the one I see the most, is that it's tiring daily driving a manual. If you get tired because you have to push in on a clutch, you need to get some exercise. That's the bottom line. It's not hard to push in on a clutch. Look at this. This isn't doing anything to my leg. I don't feel this at all right now. Okay? Like, it's not that hard. Hit leg day more if you get tired by doing that, because that's kind of, you know, that's kind of ridiculous, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if you can't just push in on a clutch without getting too tired. I mean, I guess unless you have like a freaking stage 17 clutch and your clutch is like super freaking stiff, but most cars aren't gonna have that stiff of a clutch. So, but anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. If you are a new driver and you're looking at buying a manual as your first car, and you're like worried about daily driving it, don't be. It's not that hard. Like I said, in the beginning, it's going to be hard for you no matter what, but it's easier to start and like be forced to drive it and learn within like a month than start and not have to drive it and only drive it when you're comfortable. That way you're going to learn in like 3 months. You know what I mean? You'll get the hang of it faster. You'll really quickly realize that all the people online that are saying that manuals suck to daily drive are wrong, or are just complaining. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Just another one of Mark's Talks videos. Let me know another topic to talk about. Also, yes, this top 10 like from 1K to 100K series is still going on. I haven't forgot about that, okay? It's still a thing. It's still gonna be here. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what to do for a good, bad, and ugly. Let me know what to do for a top 10. I'm also probably gonna be rewriting the whole script, or the whole like schedule for this channel in a couple days here, because I want to add another like certain type of video in there. The reviews, the car reviews are still a thing, so if you live in the New England area and you want me to review your car, definitely hit me up on Instagram. If you want to support this channel any more than you already are, head on over to www.smoothstance.com/shop to pick yourself up a hat, shirt, or shorts. With that all out of the way, my boys, thank you guys so much for 20K. Again, I know that was like a while ago that we hit that, but I want to say thank you again. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.